There's a reason these scenes are the most paused. Throughout cinema history, there have been scenes that strike a chord in many viewers, making that one particular scene the most memorable. It could be a stunning view, a look on the actor's face, a memorable action, or just the appearance of a favorite actor can make a scene unforgettable. There's a reason these scenes are the most paused, and you'll agree why they appear on this list. A cameo for E.T. Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, one of the films in the Star Wars franchise, is not one of the most beloved in the series for a few reasons, but it did have a scene that made viewers do a double take. In one scene, E.T. and his family make a cameo appearance. The three extraterrestrials stand on their own pod as representatives to the Galactic Senate. Changing Room in Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights is the story about the life of an adult film star. The size of the guy's manhood was one of the much discussed topics in the film, but it wasn't until the film was about to end when viewers were actually allowed a peek. It was a prosthetic, of course, but there it was. The Chalkboard of Easter Eggs. In one scene in Thor: The Dark World, Dr. Selvig, played by Stellan Skarsgård, is standing in front of a chalkboard on which she had scribbled theories and equations. Fans of the franchise have paused this scene to find clues associated with the film series. In fact, one of the things scribbled on the board is the word Nidavellir, a place that would be important to Avengers Infinity Wars. The map in Iron Man 2. In a scene where Tony Stark meets with Nick Fury, there's an electronic map that's supposed to show the location of superheroes. In the map, hotspots appeared in Greenland, where the frozen Captain America was, New Mexico, which was the location of Thor's hammer, and in Africa, which would later turn out to be the location of Wakanda. Hunchback cameos. In the Disney animation The Hunchback of Notre Dame, there's a scene where Quasimodo is singing on the roof of the cathedral, and the people beneath him on the ground are shown. In this scene, several Disney characters can be seen: Beauty and the Beast's Belle, Aladdin's carpet, and the Lion King's Pumbaa. Is that you, Jen? Jennifer Lopez starred in The Backup Plan, playing a single woman who goes through artificial insemination to have a baby. After the procedure, she meets and falls in love with a guy, and some complications arise. For many of the scenes in the film, a body double was used. Fans of the actress would often pause the moments to determine whether it was J-Lo or a double. Zippergate. Ben Stiller played a man enamored with Cameron Diaz's character in There's Something About Mary. In one scene, Stiller's in a bathroom when he had hurriedly zipped up his prom tux pants. Unfortunately, he didn't properly tuck himself in, and his private parts get caught in the zipper. Many fans have paused this scene to capture Stiller's priceless reaction. Mrs. Robinson's seduction scene. In The Graduate, Dustin Hoffman's character is seduced by Mrs. Robinson, played by Anne Bancroft. It has several memorable scenes, but the bedroom scene where Mrs. Robinson begins her seduction is one of the most paused moments in the film. Monster List. The Cabin in the Woods is considered one of the best modern horror films. In one scene, a whiteboard is shown with a list of monsters and other horror figures. The list is amusing because it includes horror archetypes and common characters that appear in horror movies. Jessica Rabbit Goes Commando. If you want plenty of Easter eggs, watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit. There is one scene here, though, that fans watch for an entirely different reason. In a car crash scene, Jessica Rabbit is thrown from the car and her dress lifts to reveal that Roger Rabbit's wife is not actually wearing any underwear. Mickey in Tron. In most Disney movies, you could actually see Mickey Mouse or just the shape of his head make an appearance. In the 1982 movie Tron, Mickey's giant profile makes an appearance in a scene depicting the Solar Sailor being hijacked. Dust in The Lion King. In one scene in the acclaimed animation The Lion King, the adult Simba lies down on a dusty cliff. Dust then floats up and forms 3 letters before disappearing. Sharp-eyed viewers were surprised that the letters spelled S-E-X, but the special effects team actually designed it to appear as S-F-X. Prince Eric's Wedding. When Prince Eric was about to marry Ursula, disguised as a normal woman, There's a scene where he and his bride-to-be face the priest to be declared man and wife. There's a bulge that shows on Eric's pants, making it appear that he was a little excited about his wedding. This bulge is actually the prince's knee, but many viewers have giggled about this. To prevent any doubts among future viewers, Disney animators decided to fix the offending spot so it no longer appears in new versions. The Vanisher unvanishes. In Deadpool 2, the Vanisher was supposed to appear to die. In the scene where he parachuted but is blown towards power lines, he was supposed to have met his end. The Vanisher is invisible, supposedly, but during the electrocution scene, his face appears for a moment, and it's Brad Pitt. Tyler Durden's appearances. Fight Club is a cult classic and a beloved film among many fans. There's a twist in the ending, and the spoiler is this. Brad Pitt's character, Tyler Durden, isn't real and only exists in Edward Norton's character's mind. For sharp-eyed viewers, this was probably foreshadowed by Durden's appearance 4 times before he actually appears officially. Phoebe Cates' pool scene. There have been many iconic bikini scenes, but one of the classics in the film has got to be Phoebe Cates' red two-piece in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. In the scene, Cates dives into the pool, climbs out of it, then takes off her top. Although the scene only happens as a fantasy of Judge Reinhold's character, it remains a favorite must-pause scene. Klutzy Stormtrooper. Stormtroopers are bad shooters, and they can be awkward as well. In one favorite scene among Star Wars fans, a door lifts open and a group of stormtroopers hurries out. Then one guy hits his head on the door. This was purely accidental, but Lucas thought it was gold and decided to have the sound effects team add sound to that scene. Wizard of Oz tragedy. The Wizard of Oz was released in 1939, so the special effects on the film were not as sophisticated as they are now. In one scene where Dorothy, the Tin Man, and the lion are skipping down the yellow brick road, there seems to be a small body hanging from a rope in the background. Rumor had it for years that this was a Munchkin actor who committed suicide. Fortunately, with improved definition, that theory has since been debunked. Cameras in the house. Margot Robbie's nursery scene with Leonardo DiCaprio and The Wolf of Wall Street featured a scene where she brings Leo's character to his knees while they sit on the floor and spreads her legs. Unknown to the character, there are actually cameras that record their private moment. Ghost of a Boy. For years, there were rumors about a ghost that appeared in one scene in Three Men and a Baby. As cameras pan across the room, there's an image of what looks like a boy standing behind the curtains. Viewers thought that the film was haunted, and this rumor persisted for years. Later, it was revealed that the ghost was just a cardboard cutout of actor Ted Danson. Basic Instincts interrogation scene. In this movie, Sharon Stone played a femme fatale who was accused of murder. In one scene, she's shown being interrogated by detectives. She's seated on a chair wearing a short white sheath dress, and she uncrosses her legs. Viewers could see between Stone's magnificent legs for just a few seconds. What made this scene controversial and therefore pause-worthy was that Stone appeared not to be wearing anything underneath. Margaritaville in Jurassic World. In one scene where a pterodactyl attack is shown, there's one man wearing a white cap and an orange shirt who gets up from the table. This was no ordinary extra because it was actually Jimmy Buffett. And yes, he's seen carrying not one, but 2 margaritas. Naughty Fly. It takes a very good actor indeed not to break character, even when they're uncomfortable. In one scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark, actor Paul Freeman speaks to Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones. A fly can be seen landing on his face, then crawling into his mouth. It was a real fly, but the impermutable Freeman continued with the scene. But did he really eat the unfortunate insect? According to Freeman himself, it was all the work of the post-production crew who manipulated the frames to make it appear as if the fly was crawling into his mouth. The buzzing sound effect was even added later. The fly, for his part, actually flew off and nearly hit Freeman in the eye. Bruce Wayne is a rich guy. In a scene in Man of Steel where Superman is fighting General Zod, their physical altercation brings them out of Earth's atmosphere. They then crash into and damage a satellite. The satellite actually bears the logo of the richest guy in Gotham. If you pause at the right moment, you can see the name Wayne emblazoned on the surface of the satellite. Ron in Ghostbusters. In 1984, Ghostbusters was a huge hit, bringing in millions at the box office. Audiences, young, old, and in between, loved the movie, but knowing adults were probably surprised that one very adult guy actually made an appearance in the film, and it was porn actor Ron Jeremy. He played an extra in the scene where the firehouse explodes. Flies Open. Teen Wolf was an enjoyable film starring Michael J. Fox, although it was not as successful as Back to the Future. In a scene at the basketball court where the camera focuses on the fans, there's a guy in a white shirt and green pants celebrating with his fly seemingly open. There were rumors for a while that his privates could be seen. However, looking at the film closely, there were actually no private parts hanging out, and producers also said that the actor was not a man, but a woman. The Woman in Total Recall. The original Total Recall was released in 1990. In a scene in a crowd where Arnold Schwarzenegger is talking to a woman, she's shown topless with 3 breasts. Many home viewers paused at this scene because it was just surprisingly strange. Well, the movie was science fiction after all. Cap's unfinished shield. In the first Iron Man, there's a scene where Tony Stark appears wearing the suit without the helmet. Behind him, Captain America's shield could be seen. It's unfinished, but it's unmistakably Cap's one and only accessory. Norman's Double. Psycho is an iconic film that has revolutionized the horror genre. It starred Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates, a man with more than one personality. In the end scene, the camera pans slowly to focus on Bates's face, and as he raises his eyes to the camera, we can see a ghostly skeletal image appearing on his visage. Aliens. Now you see them, now you don't. In science, problems begin when aliens start causing trouble. They do make early appearances in the film, but only briefly and quickly. However, if you click the pause button quickly enough, you could catch one of them as it walks past the camera.